So I did a post earlier talking about, if you have to ask, what are we? You need to pack it up and go home. And to do an expansion on that, I don't think it's a good idea to become intimate with a person if you guys don't have number one, a title. Number two, if you guys aren't aligned on values. Number three, if you're not clear about the boundaries and expectations that you have when you do become intimate. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. This commenter says, I don't think it's wise to even become intimate or have a man in my home unless we have a title. So that eliminates this situation, meaning asking the question, what are we? Or getting heartbroken from not being clear on the expectations of the relationship from ever even happening. So again, I want to start this off with telling you everybody here is an adult. So you can do whatever you want to do. This is certainly not me telling you what not to do, telling you what to do, excuse me, in your relationship. Because if you're grown, you're grown. You can make your decisions, right? Um, and also change the roles. So if you're homosexual, heterosexual, change the roles as necessary. So I don't think it's a good idea to. I don't recommend intimacy when you're not clear on what you're doing in a relationship. A lot of times you may have different expectations. You may even have a different defined definition of what dating is. You and while that person you may have met a person on a website or through a friend or whatever, and under the guise of dating, that person and you may have different definitions of what dating is. So you need to really get clear on what dating is and really get clear on what your expectations are. Like, listen, I'm not entertaining anything until we are in a committed relationship. Don't allow the try before you buy. Don't allow why get the milk, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Don't allow that to happen. Value your body, value your boundaries, value your standards, stand on that. And everything else will follow. You may have disappointments, but that's okay. It's good to, it's in my opinion, it's always better to be disappointed when you haven't gone that extra mile versus when you've given all of yourself and you pretty much have fallen victim to trickery, or you've been hoodwinked, meaning somebody has told you everything that you wanted to hear only to bounce up out of there once they've gotten your goodies. So it's better to maintain your boundaries and standards and sort of observe and see what a person's character is, and if they're taking dating and courtship seriously, or you guys have the same understanding of what it is and you're actually engaging in that versus giving that up and feeling devastated when it just doesn't work out. So that's number one. Number two, you need to make sure that you guys are aligned when it comes to boundaries around intimacy and sex. You need to make sure that you guys are aligned when it comes to what you will and won't do with your body and what you will and won't allow with your body. Um, there are things, out there that can be introduced to you without your consent, things that you can't get rid of, things that will eliminate your chances of fertility, and things like that, all because you thought that you and this other person were on the same page when it came to intimacy and monogamy. So while you may have been practicing monogamy, the other person may have been very, very open and doing them. And a lot of people don't find this out until too late. And I can't say that you will always catch it, because sometimes these things happen after you're married or whatever the case may be. But you always need to make sure that you are aligned and that you are very certain that boundaries are being practiced, and that you two you to have a very clear understanding of what goes on when it comes to your body, because someone who is having fun or doing them can bring something back home to you that you never asked for, and now you are stuck with that for life, all because you like this person and you thought that we were doing something just because they were giving you lip service, but really they were future faking. So you want to be careful with that kind of stuff. Number three, I think time is one of the most valuable commodities, if not the most valuable commodity that a person has. So I don't recommend wasting it unless you are very clear on what you're doing. So you need to be, and like, I'm not going to just be wasting time just to kick it with a homie. And especially the older you get, the more trivial that sounds, right? Like if you're 40 and you're just still kicking it with my homegirl or homeboy, and you guys aren't really committing to anything, that just sounds, crazy. I mean, if you look at some of, like, for example, if you look at like some of these rappers, right, that have been, that have considered themselves playboys and things like that. Some of these guys are running around and they're like my age. They're 40s, 50s, and things like that. And they're still running around. I'm a playboy, I'm a baller. That I don't know, and they're not committing to any woman or anything. It's like, at a certain time, at a certain age, that really begins to be misaligned. You got all these kids, but you don't have family. And again, I'm not, judging anybody, but if you're looking for commitment, you don't need to be looking at people who are practicing relationships this way. I'm a baller, I'm a G, I'm just going, I'm gonna chase skirts. I'm not gonna commit to anything. All these, or I just want to see where it goes. That person has no direction and they're going to waste your time. If you're looking to get serious, have children, get married, and do things, stop entertaining that stuff, because at a certain it ought to just sound like the Muppet, womp 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 womp, or is that Charlie Brown? Charlie Brown or the Muppet talk. It ought to just go through one ear and out the other, because it's not aligned, and I'm not even entertaining this conversation. So be careful with that, because while you're thinking that you're dating, someone else may be considering you another notch on their belt and not even taking you seriously. Some people will treat this as if it's a game or playtime when it's really serious business. So you want to be careful with that. But I hope that makes sense. And it's, I'm not trying to be judgmental. And, or, I hope this doesn't come across that way, but, you know, protect yourself, protect your interests, stand on that, and don't let anybody sway you from doing that. Well, you just need to go with the flow. Don't do that. Either you know what you want or you don't, and move on, right? Because people know what they want pretty quickly when it comes to you, but also don't entertain lip service. Make sure that people have the same values and that they're aligned with yours. Thank you so much. Hope this helps. Like, comment, and share. Be sure to give me a follow if this resonates with you, and subscribe to the newsletter for more things that I will be to be in the know about things I'm going to be offering in the future. Thanks so much. You guys take care.